Alright, new iPhone 6s Plus, finally! But it's too big. I can't even reach iMessages, man. Oh, if there was only one thing we could do to bring it down. Man.
Wish granted.
Oh wait, no! We can do that! Oh man! Thank you, Apple. You rock! Hey, welcome back to my channel, you guys. This video is dedicated for a complete review of iPhone 6s Plus. We're gonna go deep inside the settings section and see what we have new, what we have old, and by the end of this video, hopefully you guys are gonna have some information that you didn't know about, and hopefully you guys are gonna like it. Let's get started. We're gonna start step by step, and we're gonna go into settings, general, and about section first. This is exactly where you get to know everything about your phone. You get to know what's the capacity you have, how much is available, how many applications you have in the phone, what kind of version of Android you have in there, what's the carrier you're with, what's the model number, serial number of the phone to recognize your device. It helps you find your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth address as well. You could also find your IMEI number, which is basically used by your service provider for two reasons. One, to recognize your device, and second, in case of a theft, they can either blacklist it or, by your permission, remove any data that you want. You could also find the ICCID number, which is basically an identifier for the actual SIM card you have inserted in the phone, and that's how you get to use your cell phone plans that you paid for. You could also use the MEID number, which is basically for phones that use CDMA technology for wireless services. CDMA technology is basically the phones that don't use any kind of SIM cards. You could also find the information about the firmware, which is basically a software that tells the device how to function. The next option is the SEID number, which is basically referring to the chipset identity that is related to the security, and NFC. NFC is basically the mechanism used as part of Apple Pay mobile payments system, and it's only on iPhone 6 and 6s Plus. Since we have talked about all these very hard terminologies and all these different numbers that almost every single iPhone product has, we have to make sure that we talk about why it's there. It's there because Apple wants to make sure that it's very secure in terms of making their products. We know that Apple CEO at one point was selling illegal cell phone plans just because he knew all those holes and missing informations in their current technology at that time, and he was using those towards doing something illegal. But then he changed just because of having that experience from the other side of the field. He came up with this brilliant idea of having this absolutely 100% secure devices that were very hard to break, and it limits its users, and the companies were giving those users all the cell phone plans within their boundaries, and that ensures security. And that's one of the reasons that all the consumers and the companies are 100% getting attracted towards Apple's product, and I give them a props for that. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the Spotlight search, which is specifically for people like us who get to be lazy sometimes, and you can simply do a search of any of the apps that you have allowed to be in the search and find them very easily. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the search bar in the settings, where we can simply search for any of the settings option that we're looking for. Sometimes we get to be lazy, you know. Thanks, Apple. The next option of hands-off is for people who have 2 or more Apple products. It's basically if you're using one to take notes or write emails or something like that, and you stopped halfway through, and you start using the second product, as long as they're both connected with the same account, you will start off from where you stopped on the first one. The next option of CarPlay lets you enjoy your own music on the go by letting your device getting connected to the car using Bluetooth or USB only. The next option is called Accessibility. It's for people who have some kind of disability going on, and that's one of the reasons of attraction toward these products as well. You could simply change the entire color theme for your phone to either gray color or inverted, looking like negative photo back in the days. It also lets you completely control your device using different speech commands, and if you have any problems reading the text size, you can change it according to your eyesight as well. You could also make the font bold so you can see it clearly. You could also bring out the button shapes on top of every button that you tap on, and you could control the lightning and contrast on the screen. You could control the animation that happens of zooming in and zooming out when you come out of an app, and change it to a fade out animation. Almost half of the iPhone users get to use this next option called assistive touch, where at one point their home button stops working and they have to use this. Now you can actually increase or decrease the number of shortcuts you want in this. The next option is only available for the newer versions of iPhone. It's called 3D touch, where you can actually touch on certain things on the screen and it lets you pre-see what's going on in that link or a picture, but you have to get used to it though. Another fun little option that they increase in iPhone settings is called shake to undo, where you can actually shake physically the phone and undo or redo whatever you wrote. But it's just that sometimes it did work for us, sometimes it didn't, so you have to get used to it. If you have some kind of hearing aid, you can actually connect your phone with the hearing aid using Bluetooth technology and have all the updates right into your device without any problems. You could also tinker with the vibration and noise cancellation settings if you ever have to. Now, another option is called reachability. Apple knows that it's creating bigger phones where it'll challenge the users to use two hands instead of one. So they came up with another option where you actually tap on the home screen twice and it'll bring down the entire screen from the top, where you can reach it very easily. You could also make the screen start to flash if there is any notification happening, and you could also put subtitles in a video and change the font size. The next useful update is the camera controls. Instead of using the default button, which is really hard to do sometimes, you can use this volume up or down button, and if you hold on to any of these, it'll take continuous pictures in very short amount of time. Most of the options that we talked about in this video are not limited to one kind of iPhone. You can access them using an older version or a newer version as well.
If you learned something new in this video, or you liked any part of this video, or even if you're watching the first time ever iPhone 6s Plus Frozen, please hit that like button and do not forget to subscribe. Subscribe.